Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Welcome to the program. Such as it is, for those of you that don't know, Sunday mornings is very informal compared to Intrepid Radio during the week. So welcome to everybody. This is a time where you can call in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put out the invite if you guys want to be part of the show this morning. You just click on this link. And we'll talk about what you want to talk about. Sunday mornings is usually unplanned, meaning I don't have a particular agenda. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I think ahead and I go, hey, let's talk about that today. And sometimes I don't. So today I got nothing in particular that's on my mind. So you guys can help govern that. If you've got some ideas and things that you want to say, things you want to talk about, let's do it. Otherwise, it's just kind of Sunday morning coffee with everybody. Rainy may or may not make an appearance today. It's become a thing where she feels she sits too much and doesn't have anything to say. And I think that's because we don't have her hooked up on her computer, which would be kind of fun. She sits over here and feels a little drowned out by the conversation. And so we got to get her back in here. And so she makes an appearance every now and then and sticks around for a while. We'll see what she's like this morning. Our house has been torn up for a week. We started doing the floors, and the floors led to ripping out all the carpet and the disgusting shape of the plywood beneath. Now it was intact, but years of 30 years of carpet being on that floor, I would almost guarantee that carpet was as old as the house, 30 years old. And nastiness, that sprinkly stuff, you can get it in a canister and you sprinkle it on your carpet to freshen the carpet. So that had obviously been done many times on the carpeting here, because the carpeting here was, when we pulled it up, all this powder was everywhere and it filled the air. We had to wear masks. And so we weren't breathing that powder in. And it smelled of room freshener. So, and how many times they had run, store rented carpet cleaning machines on it, I don't know. But it was nasty. And so we stripped that all up. We took the carpet and we took a blade and we slit it all, in narrow strips so we could roll it up and throw it in the garbage rather than roll up one big 20 by 16 foot room and throw that in the garbage. And so we've been doing that bit by bit. And then we decided let's paint the walls. So we painted the walls and got some great new colors on the walls, which is good. We did this. I described this once before, but it's almost like a white that Raini had brought home. And the walls, by the way, had been painted in the living room chocolate brown. Who paints walls chocolate brown? But I suppose it could be used for a good color, if you've got the right coordinating stuff to go with it. But it was just made the room look dingy and dark. And so she took one wall and she painted it all with this new kind of I thought it was like a white paint. And I said, why are you getting white? White reminds me of living in an apartment building. And she said, no, look closer. And it had a little bit of a pink tinge to it. Now, if you take a look like over here, look at the light, the way the light's hitting this bust over here of sentiment. It's got that kind of a look, a little bit of an undertone to it. And so we put that on the wall and it looked really nice. That's on two of the big walls. And then we took a really dark blue. That's a real charcoaly blue color, midnight blue. Not too rich in the blue, more toward the dusty grayish side of blue. And but it's a dark color, and we put that on the other walls. The other one wall in the living room No, 2 walls. And what a neat contrast in that room. And then, of course, we're putting down the wood laminate flooring. And we just got down to the point where everything's done, all the painting's done, all the way down the hallway. And we've been doing it in our spare time. So we've had the living room and the hallway ripped up since last weekend. And finally, yesterday, Rainey put down a layer of paint on top of the plywood. Only because it's like, do we scrub this plywood? Do we? And it had all the stain marks from over the years. Who God knows how many animals had pissed or shit on, thrown up on that carpet, and it was just nasty. You didn't even want to touch it, but we had to get it out of there. And so now everything's clean, everything's painted. The floorboards all have a layer of paint on them. And they've been cleaned up. They've been layer of paint down. We're waiting for that to be bone dry. And then we put down our facing and or the sub facing underneath. And we start putting in the wood laminate. And it's going to look nice. And then it'll be done. Yeah, concrete. I think, Josh, laying this stuff on concrete, I don't know. I'm speaking from ignorance, but I would think it's done the same way as you would on a wood floor upstairs. I think. I don't know if you've got to treat the concrete first, maybe paint it with a concrete waterproof type of paint, and then put your flooring down or your padding down. The padding's only about that thick. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, but you can get different grades of that, and that will, this isn't a home improvement show, folks, but we're talking about it at the moment, but you can get different, it wasn't thicknesses, it was what it was made of, and it altered the price. We could get it everywhere from $20 for a 100 square foot roll to $60 a 100 square foot roll. And I asked the guy, I don't know, where were we? Not Home Depot, Lowe's. And I asked him, I said, what's the difference in these? And he was very knowledgeable. And he just said it's what it's made of. It makes for extra cushion, believe it or not, at only that thick. And it makes for noise reduction because of the substance of what it's made of. So we got kind of middle of the road. We're not made of a lot of money. Excuse me. And so we were trying to figure out, we don't want to get the cheapest. Let's get what's going to be, and it's right above my head, as you know, for sound reduction. So, yeah, Josh said it would be kind of a floating floor. It'd be interesting. I don't know what you'd have to do with that. If you have to raise it up off the floor on a concrete, I don't know for sure. I'd have to look into that. I'll bet you there's a YouTube video for it, though. You can find anything you want on YouTube and make it happen. I still have paint on my arms. Look at that. That's after 3-4 showers scrubbing that stuff off. That's the color on the wall. So kind of a faded version of it now. So, yeah, floating floor. I don't know how that stuff works, but I'd look it up on YouTube. Say, hey, I want to install flooring on my basement floor. You know what I'd like to do? It's like what I did in here. And this is just a basement floor that I'm on here and in the master bedroom next door. Some of you saw pictures really early on, almost a year ago when we did this. Painted them dark red, a really dark red color. And used a concrete paint. And Uncle Dave picked up some concrete paint and brought it over. It wasn't quite the right kind of paint. It's chipped up a bit in places. And so what I want to do eventually down here is just get a really good, whatever it's called, that urethane type of paint. I don't even know if it's a urethane base, but it's that stuff you put on. It's got a really thick coat on it. It's impermeable. That's what I want to do down here. But the master bedroom and this room are done in that dark red. And then the floors out there, Rainey did with another concrete paint kind of a light minty grayish green. And of course, with the basement flooding we've had, didn't come into this, never hit this room, barely would hit the master bedroom. It would get under the wall and it would come in there and we'd stave it off. But it was mostly in the main rooms where the family room is for the kids and a Rainy studio over there. It would flood over there. We think that's fixed now. We haven't seen any flooding since that's been fixed. So there, home improvement hour with Scotty. And that's all we got. So how's everybody else? Sandra says, your mom's been admitted to the hospital today for checks. Well, good. Get her checked up on. She's in her 90s, correct, Sandra? So that's getting up there when you're up in your 90s. Well, William Shatner's 92. He seems to be doing okay, as far as we know. So best to your mom and to you. Sean Vest is here this morning. As favor to all who enter this domain. Person turquoise, waving, face blue, smiling. The emoji didn't pick up. So that's weird. So welcome, Sean. And Carlene Smith, good to see you, Carlene, this morning. If you all haven't seen it, here is the call-in line. If you call into the show, keep in mind, it's a camera. You're going to be visual, but you can come in, turn off your camera, and just come in audio if you want to. Josh Kemp is here. Sandra is here. Johan, Dancing Gypsy, is here. We'd love to hear more from Rainy. Well, write her and tell her you want more Rainy. And I know she's up. I just heard them upstairs walking around. I know she's up and around. So who else? We got Rudy Dog is here. I'm going to see Rudy today. Yeah, Rudy's going to swing by with an older iPhone that my daughter, Rowan, can use. So he's going to come by today. I'll shoot you my address, Rudy. And Rudy? I want to see Rudy Parent Call. You want to see Rudy what?
I see Parent Call. I heard you say Rudy. I want to see him.
Oh, it's not the same Rudy you're thinking of. There's some heartthrob, Rudy, no offense. There's some young heartthrob guy, Tiger Beat sort of guy named Rudy that the girls are all gaga over. And I said, this Rudy's a little different. He's a little older than that guy. So Morgan Snow, welcome this morning. And who we got? Roger Rabbit is around. Well, at least he was around 4 hours and 45 minutes ago. So he's stopping in to say, I'm going to be there. And Josh Kemp is now a member here. Welcome, Josh Kemp. You've been here for a long time. Glad you became a member. Thank you very much. And who else we got? I think, Cordia is here. Good to see you. Ryan Gale is here. Maya Hansen is here. And Rudy the Dog. Oh, yeah, you said I need your address. Here, I'll do it right now since I'm just sitting right here anyway. So while we're doing the show, I'll just send my my address over to Rudy. And Rudy, you got to be prepared for this house is torn up. So there it is. Sent that over to your messenger. I think I got it right. Yeah, I got it right. So there we go. And I'm out of it politically for the last 2 days. I don't know what's going on in government. But man, does it seem to you to be a cloudy, colluded, messy? All the news about government is just, there's nothing that's just, oh, this is the news, and here's how your government's working for you. They're doing, everything has gotten so off the rails, and it's so hard to follow anything, and it gets tiring following it. Not tiring in the sense that, it's tiring in the sense that it wears on you after a while. You go, come on. Can we just get on with it? Yeah, it's BS, says Josh Kemp. Exactly. So, and it gets old following the news. I kind of, because I'm more conservative, I like seeing the things that are being done to confront the Biden administration, to confront the Biden, they call it the crime family, the Biden corrupt crime family. The left will claim that doesn't exist. But if you had seen Donald Trump or any of his sons engaged in this kind of activity, it'd have been a totally different story coming from the left. So the big question you have to ask is it really right and wrong, or is everybody just making sure they get in power or maintain power or have the power? Is it just everybody just defends their side for the same things they would condemn the other side for doing? We see it all the time. Now, I will admit, I do see more of that coming out of the left in our country. I see more defending their own for things they would condemn the others for. And they find out good ways to try to cover it all up or to wish it away. And the next time I see, here's a good drinking game. Every time you hear somebody that's a Democrat say that Joe Biden has done amazing things for our country, take a drink. And I would love the press to just pin them down when they say, well, Joe Biden has done amazing things. Well, can you list some of those for us? Can you tell us what he's done, and so on and so on? So my political stripes show loud and clear when I talk about him. I get really tired of listening to the rhetoric of the left. And sometimes the rhetoric of the right even bothers me, but I tend to agree more with the right than I do the left because I'm conservative. I'm conservative, damn close to libertarian. I'm a constitutionalist, so I want to see those things held up. Josh Kemp says they're geriatric and want to stay in power, both sides. Yeah, they don't care that Joe Biden. You know, this is just either Joe Biden's going to be stepping down and they're going to replace him with Kamala for a short period of time, and they're going to run somebody else like Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama. There's all the chain rattling about that. What they do need in the presidency is, and I say this in spite of the fact that I support Trump, Trump's pushing 80 himself. He's 78 years old, I think, or 76 this year. But he's of sound mind. But I'll see all my liberal friends and people I don't even know that respond to things I say will say that Trump, remember, they were saying that he was losing his cognitive awareness. But I don't think it shows at all. So I could deal with having Trump in office because I think he's going to do something. I think he will undo a lot of what Biden is, the destruction for our country that the Biden administration has done. And yes, I could list all of that. It's mostly been a social presidency, and that social presidency has spilled over into our fiscal presidency, spilled over into the way that the economy is run. And, you don't take a stand. This is a for instance, and this is glossing it over pretty easily without going into all the details. But you don't take a stand and say, we're going to save the planet and have a good green footprint for the United States. So we're going to stop drilling oil and fracking. We're going to stop doing that. We're going to eliminate this and that, and we're going to have electric cars. Oh, look what glory has entered the room.
8 minutes.
She's got 8 minutes. She said, you got 8 minutes. That reminds me of something. You got 8 minutes, buddy. Kids are watching cartoons. There is my beautiful wife. Oh, that's right. That's right. You're taking off for she's taking a couple of the kids. Are all the kids going?
I think all the kids. I woke up Flynn for the last half hour and said I'm leaving. And no matter what, it was 9 minutes then.
You out of bed yet?
No.
Oh.
And I said it's not a wake up in 9 minutes and then go wait. I gotta get ready. I'm
Wait, I
like,
gotta get
now.
ready.
I'm
That's what he
getting in
does.
the car and leaving.
The star of the show. What was that? Where'd that go? The star of the show walks into the room, says Field Guy. There she is. So you look beautiful this morning.
I'm tired as shit.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I look beautiful. I can see my thing is there and the puffy.
Oh yeah, it's all puffy and yeah. That happens when you get old.
That I think all the sweeping up of the dust.
Yep.
To mop that floor.
Yep.
We ripped out all the carpets. I heard you telling some of it.
Yeah, I was telling some of it. You can hear everything now.
Ripping out
perfectly from here to upstairs and back and forth.
And all the junk underneath the carpet, which was nasty, and our house is full of this nasty dust.
Nasty dust. And it's
I painted most of the floor yesterday.
Yep.
So hopefully we won't smell this.
While you're gone, I may finish the hallway.
You should.
And we've got to wait a couple of days now for that to dry thoroughly so we can put that padding down to put down the flooring. And I'm looking forward to it being done. You know, all these projects that you do, things like this, you can concur. It's not the fun of doing it because sometimes it's a pain in the ass. It's the fun of being done with it and say, look what I did.
Yeah. And we haven't had a living room for the last week.
Yeah.
So no place to sit. You can't even sit down and eat dinner because everything couch-wise is loaded into the kitchen. The
kitchen and the dining room are full of the sofas and the bookshelves and everything that were in the living room. So
and we can't hang out in the garage because that's full of everything else from the living room and then the old carpet.
Yep. We can come down here and hang in the basement family room and hang in the master bedroom down here on the other side of the wall.
Clean because it's still messed up from the last time.
Over on the family room side, it's still messed up over there.
Which I still have to go look.
And the master bedroom is okay, but do we want the kids sitting and eating on our bed?
No.
Watching TV? No.
Did you hear the thunder?
No, I didn't.
We had good thunderstorms this morning.
All right.
Lots of lightning. The girls were up. Well, Ellie was up at 6.
Wow.
Did you see that? Did you hear that?
Yeah. I woke up and I didn't wake up till 8 o'clock. You weren't there, and kids weren't there, and I was like, where am I? So for having slept all afternoon yesterday, it's because of this, whatever this virus was, that I hope the tail end of it. One thing I noticed, I didn't cough all night, which is nice. And I coughed up a couple of fine lugs this morning, but I think it's starting to subside finally, but then it might be all the sleep I've been getting lately. So what's on your mind today?
Not much.
Yeah.
I have to call my sister and tell her about my dream.
What was your dream?
It was about wherever we're gonna go for our little vacation.
Nice. Where are you going?
I'm not exactly sure yet. The dream was about going to a little Tuscan village, but that's not really where I want to go.
Yeah. What kind of village?
It was a little Tuscan village.
Tuscan, like the Tuscan Raiders from Star Wars.
Yeah, that's totally it. It does have a screen protector on it.
Why is it black?
Because I don't know what happened to my other one.
This is typical. So, hey Ellie, how you doing this morning?
Oh, it's out of battery. It needs to be plugged in.
I want to see Rudy Panko.
You're not going to see Rudy Panko.
Yeah, Rudy Panko. That's not the Rudy that's going to stop by today.
But we're planning on going. We want to go to either Iceland or Greenland.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Or something of that sort.
That'd be cool.
Sit in hot springs for a week.
I want to go to LA. Exactly the part where Rudy Panko lives.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Okay, can we stop leaning and pulling on my shoulder, though? Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Mom's got a bad shoulder. Rainey's got to have her left shoulder operated on. So that kind of ended her massage career about 6 months ago. It's finally getting to the point where she's got to get it surgically fixed. So we'll see how that does.
We'll find out, I think, October 25th. That's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see what's going on with that. What's everybody saying? I got to put on my glasses. From this distance from my screen, I got to see what everybody's saying. Steph says, maybe Rennie can come back with a droid. She's not laughing. She's not into that.
No,
She likes Star Wars and Star Trek, but she's not into it. There you go, Steph. There's your answer from Rainy. Drinking green teas, says Spirit Gods and Gods, says Cordia. Josh Kemp, new knee in 2 months. All right. I hear that knee stuff is no fun. I had a new hip put in 6 years ago, but I hear doing the knees is even rougher.
Okay, are you all ready to go?
Are you ready to go? Or are you just down here to be disruptive?
You got a second set of clothes like I asked, and then a sweater because it's cold outside right now. You got socks on.
Cold and rainy outside.
Okay. I'm gonna go upstairs because
all right.
She's pulling on my shoulder. I don't like it.
Well, you're gonna leave soon,
Yep.
so
See y'all later.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Should I wear pants?
Bye.
I
Have
don't
fun.
care if you wear pants. Bring pants with. Bring a second outfit in case you get cold and wet.
All right, they are off to my brother-in-law's, to Rennie's brother DJ, and they're going to go fishing today. Are you going to go fishing if it's cold and raining? Do you know?
Fishing and rock picking because I'm not going to pay for a Minnesota license to go fishing.
Right.
But the kids can fish.
Right. Fishing and rock picking. There you go. Well, have fun. I love you. I'll see you later. All right. So let's see. Field guy says, my dad's been needing rotator cuff surgery for 3 years, but every time he has to get it, his doctor retires, and he has to start all over with the stress test. Now, oh, I hate that. It's like the doctor's gone, so you got to start the whole thing all over again. Do they not take notes, keep records? Your dad is 64. He just had his birthday. Hey, I could be your dad. I'll be 63 in November. So, Cordia, I will pass that on to Rainey. She's already out of the room and on a different floor. Now she's upstairs. There's Uncle John just popped in. Let's bring in Uncle John. How you doing, Uncle John?
Good morning.
Good to see you, brother.
I'd have been here earlier, but I was
Too
up
early.
at 5:30.
Oh,
and
5:30? Yeah.
had to go back to bed for a while.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I actually yesterday, and I think it's because of this, whatever this chest virus I've had is. And by the way, my kids have had it. Well, my son has. My wife hasn't gotten it. I'm going on 3.5 weeks now with this thing, and it's been up and down, up and down. And my doc said you'll be coughing for about 6 weeks. And it's just the way it works. I've had this before. I get something like this every year. Everybody who listens to this show knows that. Some kind of thing. I've had it every year, it seems, in my adult life. And yeah, I was yesterday. I was just out of it yesterday. I got up. I had a good night's sleep Friday night. I got up yesterday morning. I was like dragging. I finished painting the hallway and put third coats on the blue, because that dark blue, we didn't get we didn't get the best paint for that. It was thin. I like thick paint that's got a primer in it. This didn't. And so it took like 3 coats to cover up the white and the brown on those walls. And so that's all done. But I did that, and I felt like I'd just run a marathon and needed a nap. And I laid down. I think I slept for 3 hours yesterday afternoon, from like 3 to 6 o'clock. And I'm like, whoa. I got up and I'm like, whoa, I'm out of it. And I went to bed at a regular time. I went to bed at like an early time. I thought old people time. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock, 3 hours later, and I slept through the whole night. And I woke up at 8 o'clock. So I must have needed it. Wow. So Josh Kemp says, you're in Minnesota. Yes, I am. So is Uncle John. Well, I'm almost Minnesota. I'm 12 miles outside of Minnesota. There you go. A cleaning droid. That would be nice, Steph. I'd like to have a cleaning droid. I want a cleaning droid. I want an android, a replicant, android that cleans the house and looks like the cleaning lady from An American Haunting. Bye. I love you too. Have fun. Say hi to Uncle John. That's Uncle Dave's brother. If you didn't know.
Hey,
There's Ellery and Rowan. Don't
nice to see you girls again.
Here you go. Don't confuse my personality with my attitude. My personality is who I am. My attitude depends on who you are. Nice. I like that.
I do too.
I took it from my friend's house.
Oh, you stole it?
No,
Well, bye.
she left it. Actually, I wore it at her house, and then we both came here, and then she forgot to bring it home, so it's mine now.
Oh, all right. I see how that works. Her friend came here, forgot to take her sweatshirt home, so now it belongs to Rowan. That's how that works. Y'all, my friends come, and when they leave their clothes, they all become mine. Like that happens very often. Yeah, it's a girl thing. We'll have fun today.
I have my boba in a Christmas cup.
All right, that's fantastic. So,
Okay, bye now.
have a good time.
Love you.
I love you too. So, yeah, if all of you remember, as I was talking, that first season, what was it? Was it almost 10 years ago now? First season of An American Haunting. Is that what it was called? Or that weird new show that came out? And every season was following a storyline. Then they do another season. It was a lot of the same actors, but totally different storyline, different setting. Was it called American Haunting? Something like that. But do you all remember the redheaded maid from that show? Because that was, I said to Rainey, I said, I looked at her when that woman came on the screen and I said, we need a maid. She goes, oh, no, you don't. And
I once knew a redheaded maid.
I thought I had a picture of her. Let's see. I don't know if I do. I could find one, I'm sure. Let's see. Here, I'll find it. You all, if any of you have seen that show, you know the maid I'm talking about. Red-headed maid from American Horror Story. Was that the show? Oh, yep, because there she is. And she was a ghost in the series. But I'm trying to find the picture of her. And she was always this temptress to the main male character in the show. And she played this ghost that was constantly a temptress. And you're like, I'm sorry, this is where Rocky and I talked about this. Would you do a ghost? Yeah, if it looked like that redheaded maid. There, you hear the sound up there? That's what it's like without the carpeting. Let's see. Trying to find a good picture of the redheaded maid. Well, there's a good picture. And it was a television show. So it was... you all hear that thumping and bumping up there? That's my kids messing around upstairs. So, hey, stop banging on the floor. There you go. That'll fix it. Right. So, let's see. Okay, let me find. Her name was Moira. Moira was the name of the ghost, and she was this hot maid. I'm trying to find a good picture of her. Let's see if I can find a good picture of her. It's the picture with the pose. You know, she would come in. He's sitting in his study, and she'd come in and be cleaning the study and bend over, and you know, the idea is wearing no underpants, you know, kind of thing. But constantly the temptress, deliberately to try to get him to. Oh, that's a GIF. That's an animated one. Not what I'm looking for. Let's see. I know this is scintillating live radio, but well, there. Yeah, it's a good picture of her, I suppose. But it's dark. I want to find one that's not dark. Anybody, is that all ringing a bell for you now? Who this person is? Have you seen the? Have you seen the show? You know the show I'm talking about. And let's lighten this picture up. That's what I'm going to do. So this is the maid. Here, the crux of the whole story is I looked at Raini and I said, I said, we need a maid. And she said, yeah, then we need a manny to take care of the kids. A manny, not a nanny. And I said, oh, yeah, I suppose. And so here we go. This isn't the best picture, but let's see. I'm just going to call this Redheaded Maid. Got to save this so you all can see it. PDF. We're going to put it here and here and here. Now, this is, I will say, this is wholesome fare for a Sunday morning. I realize. But let's see. Carlene says, TTL, having breakfast. Well, have a good breakfast. Let's see. Let me grab this picture now that I'm here. All right. Go to the desktop and grab it. Redheaded Maid. Where'd she go? Redheaded Maid. All right. I'm loading it up. This is just for your efficacy. And so, you know, it was American Horror Story. That was the name of the series. Let's see. What does Sean say? We are Penn State. Nittany Lions fan here. All right. All right, here you go, guys. This is for you, Field Guy and others. This is the Redheaded Maid from American Horror Story. Boom. There she is. And she had the little maid costume and all of that. Now, it's very interesting. She was also in The Walking Dead. After they did the American Horror Story series, she's a blonde in real life. Yeah, hello, nurse, says Field Guy, or hello, maid. Yeah, I think my deck needs swabbing. But so she's blonde, but she was in The Walking Dead. She was kind of if any of you followed that series, a love interest for a whole season for the main character Rick. And Josh Kemp says the first 3 seasons of American Horror Story were great. Yeah, we saw the first 2 seasons, and I got smatterings. Was the 3rd season the one they did down in New Orleans, Louisiana, with the Madame Defoe or whatever her name was, Kathy Bates playing her, 18th century. And I think that's the last season that we actually saw, and I didn't even see the whole season of that one. So, a Field Guy says, I have a pain in my butt. I think it needs spanking. Hair maid. I think this maid probably would have done it for you. I think the thing was, though, is that she was a ghost, but she was a ghost. There was also, she was the younger incarnation of the old ghost, this elderly redheaded woman. And I think she actually, the main character finally succumbed to her at one point. And if I remember right, didn't she turn into the old version? But she was also demonic looking, beastly old ghost or something weird. So The Covenant, says Josh Kemp. Was that the name of that season? Kim Kardashian in the new season. Are they still doing new seasons? That would answer your question. I have no idea about Kim Kardashian, and I have no idea what that series is doing. Is it still on? Which season was the best? Audrey. Hey, Audrey. I have to say the first season was probably the best because it was unique, it was original, it was new, and it was well done. Third season, Josh, that's the one with the Louisiana, the New Orleans, Madam. Madam, what was the name of the actual historical person who that was patterned after? You remember that story, John? There was some Louisiana, New Orleans matron from the late, I want to say the late 1800s. It was either pre-Civil War, post-Civil War, to make it mid-1800s. But wealthy, and she committed all these atrocities. Had a dungeon in her house and all. And the house, you can visit the house today. And so she was, and I don't remember the name. And sorry if I'm keeping the picture of the redheaded maid up too long. I'm sorry, but I make no apologies.
Did you say something, Scotty?
Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, that's I love it when Raini puts on her little maid outfit. Oh. And we'll leave it at that. So there you go. As much as it pains me, I should probably take her down. Nah, we'll leave her up for a minute.
Thank you.
So Morgan Snow is laughing. She says. So let's see. Okay, I'll check it out when I can, says Audrey. Oh, the show itself? Audrey, have you not seen the show? Audrey, are you working today? Are you rebel forces today? Or are you empirical forces today? Audrey works her dream job after all these years. She is working in the field out there. She picked up a dream job at Disneyland, and she works for the Star Wars Galaxy's End. Is that what it's called? The city from Star Wars, and works on the rides there and stuff like that, the events. And she goes, I'm not working today. I'll be working as first order all next week. There you go. So Empire. And man, that is John and everybody listening. Galaxy's Edge. There it is. We went to Disney World a couple of years ago, the whole family. And I have to put in here, if you don't remember, my daughters that are my twins who have the Mermaid Tail Company. They surprised us all and took the whole family to Disney World. All expenses paid. We stayed on site for a week and did all this stuff. And we went a couple of times to the Galaxy's Edge and rode. That's when the ride Rise of the Resistance was this new ride at the time, and it was pretty amazing. And I've got a video of that somewhere. I just wish I knew where. I'd play it and show it to you. Let's see. if I can find it. I'm going to see if I've even got that video file. Let's see. We'll call, I don't know what I would have called it. I don't know where I would have stored it, but Rise, we'll put Rise in there and see if it comes up. Contains Rise, the name. It's loading slowly. I'm going to try and see if I can play this for you guys on here. I shouldn't have a copyright issue because it's not a YouTube video, but it would be in our, pardon me, I got to put my glasses on. And this was the second time we went through. I took my camera. I wasn't obnoxious. I was in the front seat of the cart and I just set it up and I just let it ride through the whole thing. And let's see. Disney trip. Let's see if it's in here. Is this where I saved it? Looking. Oh, I might not have. It was Rise of the Resistance. And I know I posted that somewhere. I'm going to take a look. I'm just looking for this on my computer. And let's go to, I'm going to go to, well, where's movies in here? To my videos. I thought for sure I had saved that here. I don't even see my movies in here. Let's see. If we go to my main movies, there we go. Let's see if Rise of the Resistance is in here. If I put it in here or not. Motion templates, birthday, Ellery, channel, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't see it. Some great videos of Raini on the massage table. You don't want to see those. Yeah, just it's mostly in the movies folder. It's all stuff from the radio show. So I'm not sure I have that. I just passed over it not long ago. Maybe it was on my Resistance, ENC or ANC? John, Resistance, TANCE or TENCE? Resistance, name contains Resistance. I don't know where I would have saved that. That's weird. I do know it is, I think I have it in my Facebook videos saved over there somewhere. Let's take a look. My videos. No, it does my videos. Let's see. My videos. I'm looking to see if it's in Rise of the Resistance. Oh, wow. It's got all the radio shows are in here. Those save in my videos, I guess. So going back. We're going to see if we've got it in here. There's Wendy and me and I know, folks, it's not scintillating radio, but it will be if I can find this because you'll be enthralled by this. Let's see. We're going way back here. I guess I've got hundreds of videos now stored in here on my Facebook because every time I go live, it saves the video. Okay, it would be right in here somewhere. So this. Oh, it's 4 minutes long, but I got to see if I can actually load it up so you can hear it as well. And so bear with me for a second. I'm going to try to download this. Does it let me download it? Can I download my own video from Rise of the Resistance? Let's see. Download video. Here we go. So it's downloading. Let's see if we can download it and link it up. And so this ride at Rise of the Resistance was one of the most spectacular event type attraction rides I'd ever been on. And it's taking you through like the Death Star or something like that. I don't know. Audrey, you can fill in the blanks there. Is it supposed to be on the Death Star or the new Death Star or something like that? Or is it something different? So let's see. I got to make sure it's downloaded here. Oh, it's still downloading. Download in progress. This is a 4-minute video. I could share my screen and show you the video that way. However, you're not going to get any sound. If I download it and then upload it to the radio show, you'll be able to hear it and see it. So let's see what we get. This is Rise of the Resistance. Audrey, you ought to call in. Since you're home today, you should call in and talk to us about Rise of the Resistance. Audrey says it's an impressive attraction for sure. Here, let's take the maid down. She's too distracting. It's an impressive attraction for sure. When you land in the hangar bay at Kylo Ren's Star Destroyer, that's what it is, the finalizer, and the doors open up to the standing 50 stormtroopers. It's breathtaking. Yeah, it is. And I've got a video of that even. I had a picture of that, of the stormtroopers, and they're all standing there. And it's pretty crazy, amazing stuff. If I can show you the stormtroopers, when you first walk in, I know I have a video of that, but let's do one at a time here. So if I go to the Disney trip, where are we? Disney trip, right there. I can find you a picture of these stormtroopers, and it's pretty amazing. Let's see. When you get in there, you are standing in front of these 50 stormtroopers. And Flynn was in heaven in this place. Here is Flynn. I got to open this up and save it as a PDF so you can see it. Now, this still picture doesn't do quite the justice. I've got a little video of it too, where we're all walking around in front of all these stormtroopers, and there's all these ships flying around outside the bay opening. It's not a window; it's like the garage door of the landing bay, if you will. And here is while we're waiting for that video. Here is Flynn in his Jedi robe, which my son-in-law bought for him, and they bought, of course, our lightsabers, and they took us on the making your own lightsaber thing, and it was a great little experience. But here is when you first walk into the Rise of the Resistance. This is the and it's a big picture because it's taking a minute to load up here. This is what you got. The Grumpy Stack is here. All right. Yeah, I need you to call, Audrey. Come on. Put on your little rebel cap and or your first order cap and come on in. Tell us all about it. So, unless it's too early there and you're just not ready to be seen by the public world. So here is Flynn as you go into the ride, the Rise of the Resistance. And this isn't flashed on a screen. This is all live right in front of you. Boom. So there's Flynn, and you see all the ships flying in the background outside the bay entry. Josh Kemp says, how do you call? Josh, I'm going to give you this link. You go to this link right there, and you'll appear down in the bottom, and I can bring you in. So there's that. Let's see if we've got this video of the Rise of the Resistance. Let's see where it went. It's going to be in downloads, but it probably named it something weird. So let's see where it is. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, that is what it's called, and it starts with 1000000. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Here's the video file. Let's go over here. You guys are going to enjoy this. I'm going to go to downloads right there, and most recent, and right there. Here we go. As soon as this loads up, it's going to start playing. Here we go. Now, there you go.
There's a clear path to the turbo lifts at the end of the hallway. Turn right.
We're in the ride.
Probe droid. You're lucky it didn't spot you.
That's my
Take
daughter.
those turbo lifts and stay out of trouble. Hey, you're not authorized. Wait, to go to the breakers.
Stormtroopers firing on you.
Find an alternate route. Who picked these two droids anyway?
That's crazy. Walker. So right under the bed. We're in the bay there.
If anyone's packing a blaster, now's a good time. The escape pod's just below us. Wait, why are you going out?
One of these Imperial walkers.
Oh, it's real bad.
And they start shooting at you.
The resistance will attempt to rescue the prisoners.
They have neither the resources nor the courage to engage us.
You underestimate their conviction. Raise the shields!
Shields? I see no evidence. Now! All personnel to their stations!
Now, it's a little dark.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. There's nowhere to run.
Now, what I was impressed by was the teams all around. They're actually going through, like right here. They're shooting out these bays. So right through them. And this stuff was massive.
Attention, all resistance personnel. Abandon ship. I repeat, abandon ship. This destroyer is about to...
Your efforts are wasted. You cannot escape. Your precious resistance is about to be destroyed.
Is this impressive or what? I think it's doing an escape pod here. Drop out.
Okay, you're clear.
Okay.
Your escape pods came in a little off target. Ground crews will meet you outside the wreck.
All right, nice job, recruits. Not what you signed on for, but hey, your resistance
You
now.
can't do that,
I think I
but
got that authority.
I'm with
Right,
you.
Beck? Where's the lieutenant? I need eyes on Beck. Line up, scan for his pod vision.
Grumpy Stack, this is my own video. So they only hit you with copyright strikes if you're using a YouTube video and replaying. This is my own video off my computer. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's not even the entire ride, as Audrey just said. So let me take that down. Remove. There we go. So there we are. Hey, Josh Kemp. So that
Hello,
was a
Josh.
pretty impressive ride. And as Audrey just said, that's not even the whole ride. So Scotty's Theater, says Matthew Sainsbury. That's right. So that was an awesome ride.
Yeah, that looked amazing. So
It was crazy. So, but yeah, there you go. Disney World, Disneyland with Audrey. Audrey works that ride and other parts, I think, of Galaxy's Edge in the Disneyland version of that show. So, way to go, Audrey. So we'll have to come and go to Disneyland just to see Audrey. Oops. I don't know why. There we go. All right. So what's going on with you, Josh? What's new? What's shaking? Can you hear me?
Did you say Josh?
Oh, Josh is gone. He disappeared. Let's see. I have Ruben Fast Horse is asking me if it's the same link for today. No. New link. Boom. There we go. So we may or may not see Ruben. It says he's active now.
Come on in, Ruben. Maybe
we'll see Ruben coming in here any minute now. So I sent him a link. So there we go. Matthew Sainsbury says my dad liked the California Disneyland. Oh, here's Ruben. Here we go. Boom, Ruben. Misu, how you doing?
Wow.
You're looking gaunt today.
She's not feeding me enough.
Well, I see
Gentlemen,
that.
Uncle John.
Good to see you, Ruben. I think.
You can tell Halloween's coming. Oh, there you go. That's just a hoodie. That's kind of
It actually glows in the dark too, but I would never walk in like this with the hood on in a bank.
Yeah, really. You'd have all kinds of emergency buttons, panic buttons being hit right away.
How are you, gentlemen?
Doing well.
Not too bad.
You look well, both of you.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go warm up my coffee. So I'm going to step away for a minute and let you two get going. You two
awesome.
Do some conversing here, folks. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Awesome. Sounds
I
good.
was hoping you'd drop in when he was talking about giants.
You know, it's not that I don't want to come in. It's that I'm using my wife's computer. So, and she's always busy on it. So sometimes I can't get on. Sometimes I can. What happened with me is my laptop that I used before, I was showing somebody, on the screen, just picking it up and going outside. It's really raining here. But I dropped it and it cracked the screen in half.
Oh, no.
Oh, I can't access anything. It sucks. So, my wife, she's not working today. It's Sunday, and that's when I can come on. But I know he's got the Intrepid radio and whatnot. But I'd like to get on. There's some great topics in that way. But it's pretty soggy out here, as you can see. You can hear the rain, but you can't see it.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like this yesterday, all day today, and then tomorrow. So we get a little puddle down there in the front yard there. But the leaves are changing slowly. So it's nice. It's nice to have autumn. It's nice and cool. It's like 59, 55.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the weather like there?
It was 64 yesterday. Had a thunderstorm all evening. It was great.
Nice. And sad to say, the weather's so effed up that by our human hands, but the fact that we had one thunderstorm all summer, and it was just nice where the kind of thunderstorm as kids we grew up with, where it would shake the house, the windows,
Oh, yeah.
and you're just like, whoa, or wakes you up. And we haven't had a summer, hot summer, but some rain, but it's more like scattered rain, no thunderstorms. And the winter was just a brown Christmas, so, but yeah.
I remember I think it was the first vacation I remember us going on. And we were in this really neat cabin, which was to say that it was a ratty old vacation cabin. But I thought it was cool. I was in grade school. And we had a thunderstorm. And we were the picture window, which wasn't huge, right at the dinner table. And I remember sitting there and watching the storm over the lake and the lightning and the waves and the wind. It was fabulous. I've always had when safe and secure, I've always had a affinity for watching a storm.
I agree. Being from the Dakotas, you can look all the way that way as far as the eye can see, and then all the way that way, and just turn your head and look, and you see it's a thunderstorm coming in. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. God forbid there's a tornado.
Oh yeah.
Pretty intense. Very humbling, I think, for all our
It gives you a sense of your place in the universe.
Amen. That's it right there. You said it right there. And I lived in Eveleth and Cloquet near Duluth in Minnesota, which I love. And as I took you outside, it's very much deciduous here. And I'm like 50 miles northwest of New York City. So it's all rural. It's all village. It's it's not townships, it's villages or it's boroughs, things like that. They go by different names. And I'm like 10 minutes I could be, if I go west, I'll be in Pennsylvania. 10 minutes I could be in New Jersey. So it's that little kind of corner tri-state area. But I do miss Minnesota because it's very much like here, except that you guys have all the lakes. So and I love that about Minnesota. There's a lake, Moose Lake, and the drive from the cities up to Duluth, or even Grand Portage, way up there by the Canadian border. Just beautiful country. Elk, moose, wolves, bear, everything. You guys have it. Indians. Not bad, not too shabby. And it's if we ever moved somewhere and she's she wants to sell this house, it's just her and I, 5-bedroom, 3-bath house in the country, nice countryside. We would move to Minnesota. She's got some health issues, but it's not major. I know Mayo Clinic is a good clinic there. So it's awesome.
Best in the world.
And we get advertisements here in New York for Mayo Clinic, believe it or not. People say, come to Mayo Clinic, whatever. But it's interesting. So, yeah, there's a lot of things I miss out there in that, not so, my family's out there. I'm at the age, that's my Lakota coming out. Lekshi is uncle. So I'm going to call you, and I called Scotty Chia, which is older brother. And he calls me Misu, little brother. So you can call me nephew, Toshka, or just Ruben, or Misu, little brother, or whatever you wanted to do. So
I can pronounce Ruben.
Yeah, I always, the way it's spelled too, in the corner there, it says Ruben. I always say Ruben like the sandwich. And spelled like that. Every time I go to a restaurant or diner, I look up, do they have my sandwich here? Then it's a good place. But it's funny. There's another one that's called a Rachel, and a Rachel's just like a Reuben, but it's not pastrami or corned beef. It's turkey. So it's called a Rachel sandwich. Something different, but other than that, life's been pretty slow. October's I think October 4th, I start my language class. I work with a non-prof out of Denver, Colorado, and they come up from Denver to the Pine Ridge in South Dakota, the poorest place in America where I grew up, and they bring medical supplies, skillsmen, tradesmen, carpenters, plumbers, people that can help with their homes and stuff like that. So they do that, and they also go across from Denver over the Rockies to the Ute Nation, Ute Indian, and the Navajo down there. So they help them out. So they're kind of they're called TIPI, and like when you raise a barn or roof for RAISERS, TPRaisers.org. You can check them out. Pretty neat. But so I've been working with them. They've been trying to get me back out. They want to fly me back out, but I hate to leave my Susie all alone, 2 cats in the house. And I drive for her all the time. So we both had head trauma. I don't know if you can see the scars, but I got like 16 staples in my head from 2 years ago. I fell down the stairs.
Oh no.
Yeah. Right over there. And I put my head through the wall. Now, there's by the TV there's another staircase that goes up. And, Susie had a neurological trauma as well, in the sense of she fell down the stairs and put her head through the wall on this. So we both did both stairs. I came out of it okay. I had blood on the brain, which causes seizures. And what had happened was, it was February. It's still kind of chilly here, so we had the heat up. And what happens is the doors kind of swell a little bit. Stuck. And I had to take a leak in the middle of the night. So I got out of bed and I went to the bathroom and I was trying to open the door. Boom. The door cracked me right in the noggin, knocked me out cold. And I was laying there till morning and I woke up in the hallway and I crawled into bed. And then I had a seizure, unbeknownst to me, but to Susie, thank God she was there. So they called the EMTs. The EMTs came, looked me over. I'm diabetic as well. I was okay, seemed to be okay. And then I boiled some soft boiled eggs and some toast and had a light breakfast. And I went upstairs to lay down. I told her, and she came and joined me watching TV or something Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had another episode. I fell asleep and then I was like a fish in the bed, a flounder, just whatever. I don't remember. I woke up 2 weeks later, my head shaved, half of it, and then staples all across my
skull. Wow.
But the neurologist, I had 4 CAT scans, and he kept checking with me, and he said, what happens is that as we get older, 60 plus, he said, you're still a young man, 52, but 60 plus, your brain begins to shrink, just part of being the ageism.
Yeah.
So what it does, so that means there's a gap between the brain and the skull. And so there's more, more
room to bounce,
I guess. But mine was still kind of flush. And that's what he said, is that it created blood on the brain. And that's when I had the seizures and had the surgery. So after 4 CAT scans, he said to me, my neurosurgeon said, well, Ruben, I got good news and I got bad news.
What do you want first?
Yeah, really. He said, the good news is you're fine. You got a clean bill of health. So the trauma is gone. You should be okay. Everything's okay. I see flashes of light sometimes in my peripheral vision, even at night when it's totally dark in the bedroom. I see like a flash or something. It's nothing major. It doesn't.
Now I get that, and they told me I'm developing cataracts.
Yeah, and I just had an eye exam. Get this, and I'm good. Everything's okay. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Yeah.
But so what happened was that he said the bad news is you're not going to see me anymore. And he was a funny guy, funny guy. He was a great guy, great doctor. You know, you wouldn't think he's a doctor, but
nice.
Crazy. So yeah, I was just telling him about my head injury.
Yeah.
And all that jazz, and how, you know, you know, I always say grandfather's not done with me yet. I still have to do, you know. So many times I should have died, but I didn't. You know?
Yeah.
I guess we all have.
Yeah. So yeah, we've all had those. Had it been a different century, we'd all be dead already.
Oh yeah.
When you think about that,
it's very true.
And maybe even 50 years ago, we'd all been dead already. So,
you know, not an accident. It's usually like the disease, polio,
right?
Smallpox, whatever.
Heart stuff.
Heart stuff. Yeah, with your heart.
Yeah.
Even 25 years ago, probably you wouldn't be around. It was 25 years ago. We wouldn't.
Hey, Anita Palmer. She just came in and said hi.
Good
25 or 30 years ago, I was working in a store as a second gig. And somebody comes in and they look at me and they go, "You have walking pneumonia. You need to see a doctor now."
Wow. What the
and
hell?
I said, "Oh, I just have a cold. Don't be silly."
It's like a bad cold. It's like what I have right now.
That's a guy's response.
Yeah, which is
called.
Just rub.
It's a very Potter response. My dad does it. David did it. That didn't work out well.
That didn't work out well for David.
But guys are like that, because guys will say, "Well, just rub some dirt on it and walk it off."
So I went to the doctor, and he goes, "Yeah, you definitely have pneumonia." And apparently, my reaction on my face came from the stories my grandparents would tell about. Well, you know, they got pneumonia and they passed.
They got pneumonia and they died.
Yeah. And he goes, no, it's okay. We have medications to fix that.
Nowadays.
Yeah. And that was just,
you'd be dead already.
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle, God rest his soul, died at 22. This is like in the late 60s. TB, tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
On the reservation, you know, we had to go to Rapid City, 80 miles away, and he stayed.
How long ago was that?
Sanitarium. I'm going to say that's got to be like 50 odd years. So yeah, it was really
I've talked
hard.
about my grandfather, my dad's dad, died at age 21 of tuberculosis back in 1938. So that was only about 12 years before your uncle would have died.
Yeah, well, again, the reservations are so ill-equipped. Even though through our treaties we get land, we get commodities, foods, we get free health care.
Oh, but I got somebody hanging in the wings.
It's a shitty outfit in that sense.
Sure.
Even Australia. Hey, Captain.
Hello, Captain.
Captain Barbados.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, man. Bad accent. Yeah. So yeah, it's the free healthcare. I've had it in Australia when I lived there for 12 years, and then go up to Canada. It's free, all the Commonwealth, but it's again, there's huge lines. It's not really a benefit in many ways, so it's tough. I don't want to get sick or anything.
Right. And you know, we think Scott Allen says I'd definitely be dead if I lived in a different century. And I think about that, how close most of us are. What has increased the lifespan in humans is the fact that we can now we now have conquered many of the things that killed us at age 35 and 40. throughout the centuries. And so would I be dead? You know, my docs told me, and I hear more stories of people saying, my doc said if I hadn't come in, I'd be dead in 2 days. You know, that's what my doctor told me, basically. When I first went in for what I didn't know was heart attacks, when I first went in and finally went in, they said, if you'd have let this go, you'd be dead. And because I'd been experiencing it for like 4 days at that point. And so how many things would we all be dead of if we didn't have modern medicine? Modern ways of treating these things. And right now, it's like, it makes me think, I've had this thing in my chest for the last 3 weeks. And I've had more people say, you should go see your doctor for that. I'm like, yeah, I really should. And then I'll get up the next morning. Like I got up, I didn't cough at all through the night last night. I don't remember waking up once coughing. Now I've coughed this morning, but so should I go see my doc? Say, hey, is there something I should be taking? Do I need antibiotics? I don't even know if it's an antibiotic. Do I need something? Or is it just letting it ride out now at this point? So it's done. The last time I had this very same thing, my doc said, you'll cough for about 5 or 6 weeks and then it'll go away and it'll be gone. And I've been going over 3 weeks now. And so it's weird. And I don't like it. It had me down yesterday. Like I said, I slept half of the day yesterday and then all night last night.
Rest is good for you, though.
Yeah, rest is good. That's probably it. I just need
liquids.
Liquids, yeah. I'm drinking all kinds of rum and scotch, so it's gotta be good for me, huh?
So, you say that. I say this, Scotty. My grandfather, I joke. He wasn't a drinker, but I always joke around and say, yeah, my grandfather, he had like half a bottle of whiskey a day.
Yeah.
He smoked stogies and all this. He ate a lot of bacon, and he lived to be like 101.
Yeah.
So when we burned him, his body lasted for he burned for 3 days. You know.
Well preserved.
Formaldehyde.
Now, as you all know, I've been a smoker for the last. I didn't even pick up smoking until I was 40. I never had a cigarette before that, and I was going through my divorce from my ex-wife, my now ex-wife, and I'd go out to the Irish pub on Tuesdays, meet a lot of friends from the festival out there. And we'd listen to John Sjogren's band, the Tim Malloy's Bloody Irish Music. And I picked up, somebody was smoking. This was back when I turned 40, it was 2000. And you could still smoke in bars. And so we're sitting in the pub, somebody's smoking a cigarette, and it smelled really good. I said, what is that? And they said, well, it's a clove cigarette. Black cloves.
Those are great.
So I tried one. I went and picked up a pack of Jarums, black clove cigarettes. And because I liked the smell of them. And I'd have one or two every Tuesday night at the pub drinking Guinness. But I would have a single pack would last me 4 to 6 weeks because I only smoked on Tuesdays. And one or two of them at the pub while I'm hanging out with friends. So my smoking started very light. Then it got to where I was doing those every day. I went through the divorce and all of that, which I was in the midst of. And you know how it gets when you're in the midst of that stuff. And they call it the divorce crazies. You do weird stuff. Even if it's something you want out of, it still turns your life upside down. And this was back in 2000. 2000 to 2002 was the range of time because of custody battles and all of this stuff. And my smoking picked up. And there were some times it got up to a point where I was doing a pack a day, and then I do 2 packs a day for a very short period of time. And then after the heart stuff, they're all on you. You got to quit. You got to quit smoking. So I quit for about 6-7 months, and I picked up again. I had some big stressful event took place, and I picked up a pack of cigarettes almost, well, it would be 6.5 years ago, 6 years ago in August. And I picked up a pack, and I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes in one day after not having smoked for 7 months. And I chose the safest cigarette you can buy. They say they're still all bad for you, but American Spirits, the one with the Indian head on them, made from they're all natural substances without additives and stuff. Yeah. So I've had health nuts, radio gurus on the radio tell me if you're going to smoke American Spirits. The problem I found with them, because there's none of the additives, it was harsher on my throat. It was just raw tobacco. I'm like, so I've been up and down. I've been up and down from 1 to 2 cigarettes a day to 4 halfies a day, which equals 2 cigarettes. And then after Uncle Dave died, the emotional distress of that, I was smoking a pack a day again.
Yeah.
And now, when this started with this chest stuff, been about a month because I haven't had a cigarette in a month. And because
stick with it.
My throat, I would cough more if I'd smoke because of this congestion in my chest. And I said, screw that, I'm not going to smoke. And it wasn't like a fight or a battle with, oh my God, I am craving cigarettes. It wasn't that. I haven't really had a craving for cigarettes. There are times where I go, wow, it'd be kind of nice to go out and have a smoke, kill a little time, go watch the sunset and have a smoke. But I've just said, no, I'm just not going to do it.
So that whole asphyxiation too.
Yes.
With there's so many things. And my Susie here.
Yes, Scott Allen.
Susie's brother, who, God rest his soul, was a hematologist. He was a doctor. And he said, it's really the hardest thing to quit is the nicotine. It's really hard. I quit alcohol for 8 years, but I always chewed tobacco. And it's been 6 years since I've had any nicotine. Yeah. But the other thing too, and I think like John agrees with me, is it's a spendy thing, even more so. I remember
nowadays, when I first met Raini, we both smoked. And it was, I think, $3.45 for a pack of cigarettes. Now, it's $10 for a pack of cigarettes.
My dad used to send me down to the pub as a kid, like 6th grader. And he'd say, like, get a bag of chips and a soda for yourself and get me a pack of marbles or Cools. And I could buy, they sold it to me, I'd walk at the bar and it was crazy. It's just so much different now. But,
Anita, that's exactly it. I know that if I say I want to go up, I'll walk outside and I'll go, oh, it'd be nice to have a smoke. I still have 2 packs unopened sitting in the garage for the last month. And I thought, you played a little joke. Rainey had this old doll that had the open mouth that, you could put a bottle into. The doll's got to be 35, 40 years old. She had it sitting up and it was holding my pack of cigarettes. And I took a cigarette out of the pack and I put it in its mouth. So that doll and the girls were like, who put the cigarette in the doll's mouth? I go, I don't know. I think it did it all by itself.
And the doll became addicted, right?
Right. And so my cigarettes are sitting there, but I've walked up and I've thought exactly what Anita just said. I thought I could have one and it's not going to bother me, but I know if I smoke one, I'll just start smoking again. And so it's not a thing of, I don't have this powerful, I've got to resist the cigarettes. It's not that. I don't have that craving. I have always said, rather tongue in cheek, I'm not addicted to cigarettes. I'm addicted to smoking them. Meaning, it's not the cigarette and the nicotine, it's the act of smoking that I enjoyed. If I'm writing, and I can't smoke in the house, and we never have smoked in the house. Well, Rainey and I did when we first met. That first year we knew each other, we smoked in the house all the time, out in the breezeway where my office was. And then when she got pregnant with Flynn, that's when she stopped smoking, and she hasn't had, I think she's had one cigarette in 15 years.
Wow.
And that was one day she was just stressed about something. She said, give me one of those. And
for a lot of people, it's the associative behaviors.
Right.
A cup of coffee and a smoke.
Cup of coffee and a smoke.
Things like that that make it difficult to quit because
it was writing. It was having, you know, a bottle of Jameson or scotch sitting here with the dim little lamp. And if it had been older days, my old typewriter, now my keyboard, I used to have the office out in the garage. I would have an office here in the house, and then I'd have an office in the garage. I'd just take my laptop up there and work out there so I could smoke while I work. And it was that picture of being the writer who has the bourbon and the cigarette burning in the ashtray while I'm writing. And I liked that. So, hey, Ken Ballos.
You know, and
so, I
like
never had a
John,
problem with smoking. I still don't. I just
like she John hit it on the head there, by saying that it's an association. So when I think of it, my dad and I would, when I smoked, he'd always say in Lakota, he would say, "Chana unkupikte, chana unkupikte." Shall we go out and smoke? You know, so we did that, but it was such a man's thing. Well, like in the Titanic, the movie, The Titanic, where all the men say, "Well, gentlemen, let's go have a smoking room and brandy and cigars," you know, and and the women would laugh and say, "Oh, they're going to solve the world's problems now."
Yes, brandy and cigars, and that's what I like doing. Even when Uncle Dave came over to the house, he wasn't a smoker, but I say, "I'm going to step outside and have a smoke. Come on with me," and he'd light up his pipe. He'd have a pipe.
And that's what my dad did. I love the smell of that.
I love the smell of pipes.
It was just inviting. So
and I've got all those pipes sitting up there of my stepdad's. Those pipes are older than I am.
You know,
some of them, all the animal heads and stuff that he had.
Some people bring these like essence candles that give me like a scent into the room to take away negative energies and negative vibes and things like that too. Yeah.
I smoke a pipe every now and then. I got into smoking a pipe about the time I met you, Ruben, when we were doing reenacting. We couldn't smoke cigarettes, but we could smoke. We had these old clay pipes. Well, they weren't old; they were new, but that's what they smoked, was clay pipes. And,
back then, they would have been new.
Yeah. And we'd pack them with. I got this kind of it was a tobacco that had a hint of cherry in it.
Oh yeah,
that was really aromatic, and I loved that smell. I love the smell of pipe tobacco. I'd smoke pipe right now if I wanted to pick it up.
I'll tell you a story here real quick. The story of tobacco, because I use it in my lectures. And tobacco the Indians used was very harsh, like you said. It was raw. So you didn't smoke a lot, but it was also used as a poultice for a sore or healing. It was a tea. You drank it as a tea, not a lot, but so tobacco was good, but it wasn't called tobacco. It was called scientifically Nicotiana rustica. Hey, Ken, Nicotiana rustica is the American Indian tobacco. Nicotiana rustica, but an Englishman who founded the Jamestown, the 5th British Crown, as it's known because of tobacco, John Rolfe, R-O-L-F-E. And John Rolfe did a hybrid where he made not Nicotiana rustica, it became Nicotiana tabaccum. That's where we get the word tobacco.
Where tobacco from.
They smoked it. They still smoke it. They gave us alcohol. We gave them tobacco.
There you go.
So it's a trade-off. But long story short, fair trade. Long story short, John Rolfe wasn't really noted. I mean, you read the history short, but he married a celebrity, and she outdid him because of her being a celebrity. Her name was Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, right?
That was his wife, and she
had another name though, you know. Her name was I think yes, remember Mont. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but a different name. Yeah.
You know, when I used to do the circuit on busking in Canada and New Zealand, Australia, work the street and hoop dance, Indian dance, whatever, I often would see these guys that would be like a statue. They'd stand there all day, silver or gold or copper, and they would move sometimes or do something and
go pee.
if you gave them a tip, they would move for you. So I thought I was that close-minded to doing this. I was going to be a wooden Indian, hold some cigars.
Nice.
That would have been something really different.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so too. And you still see it in different rustic places in the countryside in America. Sure. You'll see a wooden Indian. I'd
pick one of those up at an antique store if I could find one, and just to have one, I'd put them in the corner over here.
There you go. I'll sign it for you.
There was a John Denver song. He was a great songwriter and a great studio musician. And people go, "Oh, John Denver, light fare." But he had one called Wooden Indian, and that you didn't hear much of. You didn't hear it played very much. Wooden Indian lyrics. Let's see. By John Denver. Let's see if it's on here. Here it is. This said, "Well, I was a red man," and the pace of this song. "Well, I was a red man. I was proud. I was strong. You were the white man, and you stole away my home. Now I am a wooden Indian, planted dreams inside my head. Times the way you bring me down makes me wish that I was dead. Na 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 na." And he had this song.
Never heard that.
And the lyrics went on. It says, I was a red man, and my passing made no sound. You were the white man, and you drove me in the ground. Now I am a wooden Indian standing silent in the rain. I swear by my grandfather's father, we're going to rise again. Na na na. And I went into that. And then it said, I was a red man. I was proud. I was strong. You were the white man, and you stole away my home. Now I am a wooden Indian standing silent in the rain. Swear by my grandfather's father, we're going to rise again. And that's what the lyrics of that song. That just reminded me. I haven't thought of that song in years.
I never. Thank you for sharing that. I never heard that before. I'm gonna look it up though. But there's a
Look
really
up
great
Wooden Indian.
If you're interested in that type of genre, by Marty Stewart, who's a country singer. Marty Stewart. He doesn't look like a cowboy. He's got.
I've heard him. Yes.
Yeah. He got adopted by some Oglala people in Pine Ridge. So he's a member of the tribe now, but he lives in Nashville. But he wrote an album Called Ballads of the Lakota. Very nice. It's kind of reminiscent of John Denver, but it's catchy. It's good. It doesn't sound like a country song, but it talks about there's songs like Casino or Three Chiefs. Three Chiefs die, Sitting Bull. Then he goes up to heaven and talks to God. And say, what will you say to me? God says to you, "He made me an Indian, and I'm proud to be an Indian." And second chief is Red Cloud. Well, Red Cloud's first, then Sitting Bull, and then Crazy Horse.
Yeah,
really good song, really well written. And
you can. I'll copy this link and put it in here for anybody who's interested. You can go to YouTube, and you can go to this link. It's a lengthy link. You can go there. That's the songs of Marty Stewart. So
even Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash had a couple of songs. That the Indian Ira Hayes, who was at Iwo Jima, one of the the flag of and the plight of the Indians in that way. So it's kind of a thing at one time, but. It's
I want to ask you, Ruben. You ever heard about event that happened in 1811 and 1812 called the New Madrid earthquake?
What was it called?
the new Madrid earthquake in the United States. It said that Tecumseh, just before the War of 1812, when he was facing the Americans, he got annoyed because some of the other tribes didn't want to really unite together properly and facing Harrison, and he predicted the earthquake, and it happened between December 1811 and 1812, and it rocked. I mean, it was the United States rocked like if it was a drunken sailor. All the houses and chimneys came down all across Arkansas, Mississippi, Minnesota. Everybody felt it. It was called the New Madrid earthquake. It was written about to come so recently, and I came across that.
Thank you, Captain, for sharing that. Make it happen, Captain. But I always think that reminded me of something. Scotty should know this, maybe even like Shijan in Minnesota, the rendezvous. I spoke at a school up there on one of the Ojibwa res, Anishinaabe res, Chippewa res, and the school was called Buganagishik. Buganagishik. It was a school, elementary, and they call it the Bug School. I go to the Bug School. Buganagishik is Ojibwa. He was a chief. He was a chief, like Tecumseh, Shawnee Chief Tecumseh.
Yeah.
But Buganagishik did something similar where his name, Buganagishik in Ojibwa, which is the second most complex language in the world next to Chinese, his name actually means hole in the day. Hole in the day. And what's that referring to? That's an eclipse when the sun goes out. That was his name. The eclipse, but they called it Buganagishik, hole in the day. And that's what that reminds me of how he...
Randall Flagg, by the way. Randall, you're thinking of out in the West Texas town of El Paso.
That's right.
I fell in
love with a Mexican gal.
I like that song.
Did you do a show sometime about this earthquake?
Actually on my playlist.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good song. I've recently got into country now, and I like it. Kenny Chesney.
There is a guy, I found him on Instagram, and I can't. It's a band, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but I saw him. He's a black man who you don't normally associate black people with country western, but he does this kind of nouveau country western sound.
Darius Rucker.
It wasn't Darius Rucker. Remember, Darius Rucker was Hootie and the Blowfish. And then he started doing country western. Now he's kind of moved on. He's lapsed into other things. There's another guy on Instagram where I see their stuff, and I wish I could tell you who it was. I could go over to my Instagram, but I wouldn't even know where to start looking for his music. But when I put in country western, I doubt it's going to come up.
One of my parents loved Charlie Pride. He was the first.
Yeah,
Charlie Pride, the first.
I'm not a big fan of the old school country western. I never liked that kind of stuff. Yeah. That never did it for me. But I like some of the country western sound, and this guy does a fantastic job. If I see, I'm subscribed to him, but I couldn't tell you who it is. God, I'd like to find out who that is so I could share that with you, and you can all look him up. But see, I look here and I go, how do you even find who you're following? It's not even in here. I don't even know how to look it up. It's got individuals I follow, and every now and then I see some music that they put out, but I couldn't tell you who they are.
There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift was country, and then she turned rock, and vice versa. Other people, Darius Rucker. But I always think of, God rest his soul, Jimmy Buffett. He was unique unto himself too, in that song with it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
What would Jimmy Buffett do if you were here?
Right. And
it's like, pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane.
Yeah.
Good song.
And
Interesting though that Ruben, that you mentioned about eclipses, because I think you told me you have a relative, I think it's your wife or so, that's Jewish. Yeah, because they have Yom Kippur, which starts at sundown this evening into tomorrow,
Day
and
of
they read
Atonement.
from they read from the Book of Jonah on the second day, because I did some little research on Jonah recently, because I know some people think the story is allegory, man being swallowed by a fish and things like that, but there was an event that occurred in Nineveh around 765 BC or 763 BC, where there was a massive, massive solar eclipse. It's called the Bursagal eclipse.
Wow.
And it caused a lot of panic in Nineveh, which was the capital city of Assyria. And them Assyrian people in them days ain't very, very, very warlike friendly. If they catch you in warfare, they could cut off your head, or cut off your hands and feet. They're very cruel.
Yeah,
And the eclipse was severe, that affected the people of Nineveh, and also they had a plague that broke out, and then another plague, and then an internal revolt, and the king was King Ashur-dan III or so. Some scholars were wondering if that's why the people of Nineveh listened to Jonah's words when Jonah walked about proclaiming destruction against Nineveh, the capital of Syria. Yeah, there's some research on that.
Captain, I grew up Catholic. I was that close to being a priest, a Jesuit priest, or a nurse brother. And Scotty have had our religious talks before.
I used to call Ruben 20 years ago. I called Ruben my priest. Because the kinds of conversations we had in our early days, we were always talking about spirituality. I would call him on the phone, and we'd have marathon 2 to 4 hour conversations talking about life and philosophy and spirituality. And I referred to Ruben as my priest. And so
I love those times, because you know, people don't want to talk about that. They get scared. Politics,
right?
Or politics, or religion, or finance. People don't. Those are marriage breakers. People get divorced from that. As you well know, I've been divorced twice. But I was going to say, it's like Joseph Campbell in The Power of Myth. He talks about all these stories, even in the Bible. They're not meant to be literal, they're metaphorical, and there's behind all that, and
a deeper truth behind the story.
Psalms, proverb, you gotta really meditate on that kind of stuff. So it's powerful. It's a good guide, but I think you are your own priest. You are your own pope, your own bishop, your own witch, your own shepherd. You don't have to be a follower, and
right.
Think it for you. But I think if we sit down and really just meditate on it, fruition is something, yourself for that matter.
Yeah. But it's amazing how eclipses have had effects on people, because there's another one coming across the United States, April 2024, April the 8th, I think it is. And it's going to be seen across the same Ohio Valley area right across, similar to the days of when the Tecumseh was around.
So the solar eclipse or moon eclipse is powerful, but there's also people forget about comets. Halley's Comet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That only come around every 20, 50 years or something like that.
Yeah, because Tecumseh's birth was marked by a comet in the sky. His name is the Panther in the sky.
Too.
Yeah.
Mark Twain too.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Even in Roman times, when a comet was seen, I think it was Octavian Caesar Augustus. He thought Julius Caesar was becoming a god by going across the sky.
It's interesting bringing up Rome and Greece and all that, and signs. When I was hanging out with priests, because I didn't have a girlfriend in high school, so I just did running, cross country track, basketball, and stuck academically. And I hung out with the priests. They called me, "Oh, here comes Father Ruben," my roommates, my buddies, at high school. But I asked one of my priest friends, Father Steve Mitten like the glove, and he said, I said to him, Father Steve, if Christ, Jesus Christ, Christ died in an electric chair, would we be wearing electric chairs around our necks? Because the crucifixion was the worst way to die, it was,
right.
And like you said, pikes, they cut heads off and pike it, or hang them upside down, or they just leave them on the road, you see all these
Slow, painful death.
slow, painful death, hard.
Well, that was you remember, and I'm sure Matthew, you know this. The crucifixions along the Appian Way.
Spartacus revolt. Yeah.
It was Crassus who was trying to become Caesar. But it was after the rebellion of Spartacus and the slave rebellion in the 70s AD.
BC.
And when he subdued that rebellion, he crucified about
6,000.
About 6,000 men that were part of Spartacus's army and the rebels, the slave revolt.
Yeah.
He crucified 6,000 of them all along the Appian Way, which was like the major highway going into the city of Rome. So for miles out from Rome, he started crucifying them all the way up to the gates of Rome. And you had 6,000 men crucified along the Appian Way.
It's interesting because in Lakota, in Indian Sign Language, when the enemies and the Sioux Empire, they call it an empire. The Sioux Empire incorporated part of Michigan, the UP, all of Wisconsin, our land, Minnesota, into Canada, half of Montana, half of Wyoming, half of Nebraska, and half of Iowa, a quarter of Iowa. And so they were always fighting. So the Indian Sign Language for Sioux or Lakota, Dakota, Nakota people was this. It's not cutting the throat. It's cutting the head off and holding it.
Wow.
It was, reoccurred Spartacus, Roman, they all did outrageous.
Right.
By the way, just because I found it, I put a link into the chat room. Ghost Hounds is the name of this group. This black guy who's that's the only way to describe him. I'm not like, and that black fella, it's he's black man, and his group is called Ghost Hounds, and they've got a new album out, Last Train to Nowhere. I don't know if that's a single or if it's an album. First Last Time, but if you go to their website, ghosthounds.com, you can see them. These guys got dreads or beads in his hair, and he wears a cowboy hat and a scarf, and, but his music, their music is really good.
Thank
you.
you.
If you want to check them out, you might enjoy listening to who they are. And I found them on Instagram. So
I do this. I use this. I'm going to share this with you. I use this in my my lectures, and I talk about, because I do Indian Sign Language, is different than ASL, Hearing Impaired American Sign Language. And a contingency of Lakota went to see the Pope in Rome. And, they go to it's called the Holy See, where it's from the bottom, and the Pope comes out.
Yep.
He blesses everybody, And so he came out, and all the Lakota were there in the regalia, feathers and whatnot.
Right.
And they're stuck out in the crowd. And so they saw the Pope. He came out and was blessing everybody. And the Indians looked at each other, and they all left the Holy See. So the Pope saw that. He said, "Bring those guys back here. I want to see them in my parlor." So they went and got them. And so all these Lakota were in the parlor where the Pope was, and he was sitting. He said, "I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming." Blah 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 blah. All the formalities, and he said, "But why did you leave when I was blessing you?" And the Indians, Lakota says, "Oh, that's what you were doing." Our language, Indian Sign Language, means take your teepee down and get the hell out of here. Take your teepee down.
They interpreted it that way.
It's a break camp move. So when the Indians did that, it was like, take your teepee down, let's get the hell out of here.
Right. By the way, because I was just touching it while I'm sitting here listening, remember I said this ring was missing. This is one that a few weeks ago, this little ring went missing, and you can't see the features on it anymore. This is the ring that Raini got me long before we were married. There's a story to that, but then this has become my wedding ring then. But this one is a ring she got me about 6 years ago at a Renaissance fair, a little one here in Wisconsin, and it's made from an old coin,
Wow.
an old American coin, and stamped out and made into a ring. And she got me that, so I wear that with my wedding ring. And I looked at my hand one day, and it was gone. I said, "Where's my coin ring?" I don't remember ever taking it off, and couldn't find it. This was about a month ago, maybe, and not my Byzantine ring or my Saint Benedictine ring, Saint Benedict ring. It was which went missing about a year ago, and I haven't seen it since. It was a prayer against demonology and against evil and spirits and things. But this one, I thought this is gone. And so the other day, when I'm pulling up carpet, as we're ripping out the old carpet here, I'm in the hallway, and down at the end of the hall, I take the carpet and I rip it all up from the nail boards, and there's dust in the air, and I hear a ping, 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 ping. And I thought, what was that? And I looked down, and here's my ring that was underneath the carpet. And I thought, how did that ring get underneath the carpet? Because it certainly wasn't on top of the carpet. So far as we know, the only thing I can figure is that ring somehow, it was either under the carpet or it was lodged deep into the corner in the back of the hallway. And when I pulled everything up, it fell in, there's like, I don't know, little scraps and bits of dust and whatever, but the ring. And so you can make of that what you want, but that ring, according to what I saw, was under the carpet that was nailed down.
Wow.
And so, and it came up. So we have vacuumed that hallway, every other day. I never found a ring in there.
Yeah.
Until I pulled up the carpet. So make what you want of that. But hey, Sandra, thank you. You have a good day. It's,
I would say this. It's voila, which is
voila.
French. Voila is French for voila.
Voila.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about how just in the beginning of our lives, things we've had now would kill us.
Yep.
But I was also thinking about there was a big power outage, and all the young people were going on about, because they had to empty all the freezers and stuff and and deal with it at work. And they said, what did people do before there was electricity around here? And I'm saying, well, it wouldn't be hard to find somebody to ask them. And they said, what are you talking about? And I said, when I moved here in 1962, a lot of the rural areas around Rochester did not have electricity.
Yeah, it wasn't hooked up yet.
Rural electrification was a big program. And I think it was in the 70s sometime they announced they had hooked up the last rural place in southern Minnesota. And they're going like, that's amazing. And I'm just shaking my head because I said, people can get along without electricity.
Sure.
If you have the knowledge of how to do it.
Thousands of years until about 50, 60 years ago.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
It's I grew up that way, being from the reservations, and we didn't lock our doors. We didn't lock our car doors. It was a different time. And we didn't have electricity. We had lanterns.
Here in Barbados, we had a hurricane lamp.
We didn't have indoor plumbing. We had outhouses. That's where I grew up. And when we came back from someplace shopping, we wore our coats in the house because we had a wood stove that was also a cook stove, and we burned wood. So, but we didn't know any better. We didn't think, until I went to school and all the white kids say, "Hey, you're wearing the same clothes again," and whatnot. Then you're conscious of it. But anyway, and bullying was a part of life. that made me stronger and better. And now kids are so soft.
I know.
Oh God.
It's different times, and I'm just glad I grew up like you did, John. You said what they do without electricity. My parents had a black and white TV and they had a radio, but they never used it. They would sit late into the night, and we slept on the floor, and they'd be speaking in Lakota. So I learned Lakota that way. They were jovial. They would laugh and tease, and these are cold winter nights.
My wife was just lamenting, and she was upset about it about an hour ago. She was taken off with the kids to go to her brother's house. They're going to go fishing and stuff. And I'm going to stay here and finish painting the floor upstairs so we can start laying down the wood. And she was really upset because two of the kids didn't want to go. And they knew about it yesterday, but now today they're dragging their heels. I don't want to go. They find out, we're going to go walking in the woods and go hiking. And she goes, why is it that none of my kids want to do the kind of stuff I like to do? Just go hiking in the woods. I think it's because of social media. Now, hear me out on this. It's because my kids, if they are left unchecked, they'll sit from sunup till sundown in a prone position watching the internet on their phone, watching videos and stuff. It's like, hey, put your phone down. Phone's off. Let's go outside. Let's go do something. And none of them want to go. Flynn wanted to stay home and play video games. Rainey said, no, I want you to come along. So she came down while I was showing the Rise of the Resistance video, the Star Wars thing. She came down here. I don't know if you all heard it because of the noise of the video, but she was like, Flynn is off his phone today. He's off his games today. He's staying home. You govern him and make sure he gets his room cleaned up and he doesn't get to use his devices all day. And I didn't ask because I'm on the radio show. My whole family's that way. It doesn't matter if I'm doing radio. They'll just come and interrupt with whatever's bothering them. And so I said, okay. And so when I went up to get coffee, when John and Ruben were talking, I got into Flynn's room. I go, what's going on? Why are you restricted today? And he's all mad. And then Rainey comes in, and she's trying to get him going anyway. And they finally all left together. But that's where she was saying to me, while you two were talking, Rainey was talking to me. She didn't want any input from me. She just wanted me to listen. And she said, none of my kids want to do what I want to do. She goes, my next life, I'm going to ask to be alone in life. And I said, well, why would you do that? And I said, well, thanks a lot, And she doesn't mean it personally. She's in the moment. And so, she is frustrated with the kids because they don't want to do the kinds of things that we grew up doing. Because they're all about, I want to go do stuff. I want to do stuff like my daughter, Rowan. She doesn't want to go walking in the woods. Why? Because she can't look like Kim Kardashian, or whoever is her model now. She's got to dress just right and makeup and hair just right. And she's only 11. She'll be 12 in November, but so she's almost 12. And it's like, oh my God, it's okay to go hiking in the woods. And Flynn didn't want to go because he wanted to play video games all day. It's like, no, go with your mom. I'd be going, I said, if I didn't have other things I had to get done. And so I need to do more of that too. I need to go out with Rainey and go walking in the woods.
Here.
So, and my kids, and take them out and go walking in the woods. I had said once, when I was talking about the Fae and attracting elementals in the Fae, you go out in the woods and you find a spot that speaks to you. It doesn't have to be in the deep, dark woods where a bear is going to eat you. It could be a wooded area next to your town. You go out there and you find an area that just kind of speaks to you. I like this place. You sit down and you're just in the quiet. and you let the quiet, you meditate in the awakeness of the quiet. And you keep going back to that spot. You can sing while you're there. You can talk to the quiet. You talk to the woods. And those in the know that have experienced this, and Ruben, I don't know if you've done this in one form or the other, but you do that and you can attract those things to you. They'll make contact with you.
Crazy Horse Day too, you know. He went out in a secluded area, and that's how he got his vision.
Sure. And that's how anybody who wants a vision, I think, or wants to be able to communicate with something. Some people will think, oh, that's really dangerous. You got to be really careful what you're doing. You don't know what you're attracting. You don't know what you're opening yourself up to. And yes, there is that. But at the same time, Rudy Dog is coming over. He says, I'm a bit early. I'm about 5 minutes from your house. Rudy, just pull in. We'll be done. We're after 11 o'clock. We'll be done in a couple of minutes here.
So yeah, don't wear a pork chop necklace when you're out there.
Yeah, really.
Attract attention. But you know, it's right. And Captain's saying the same thing. We all are. Where I went on a vision quest as a young native male, a vision quest.
Right.
We call it a humblechia, which means to cry for a vision. And so you're nude. You got tobacco ties. You sit in like on a coffee table, big coffee table, and you face west. There's a buffalo skull. Your pipe's there. You got a wooden bowl of water, a wooden bowl of dried jerky, beef, for temptation. So for 4 days, you do not sleep. You do not eat. You do not drink. You have to use the bathroom. You open the ties and you walk out and do your business, and you come back and close it back up. The whole point is what it's saying is, if you take away the things that you need, food, warmth, shelter, water, purposely, on purpose, pushing that aside, physical things that you need to be alive, but you push it aside and say, no, for 4 days and 4 nights, I'm not going to do this. And you stay up and you concentrate. You're totally, if it rains, you got a buffalo robe.
Yeah.
You know, all this kind of jazz. You're in the element of everything. And so then you record an ant, a spider, a coyote, or an eagle, or whatever to help you, and you share it when you come down off the hill. And that's the joining of that whole.
Let me give a message to Rudy. Rudy, if you're listening, if you get here and you come up to the door and I'm still down here, if you're here in the next couple of minutes, just come right in. I'll warn you, the front doorknob is wonky. You got to turn it hard to the right, and then it'll push open. And the doorway right in front of you is the stairway coming downstairs. You can come down, turn left. You have to walk through the master bedroom, and you get back here to the studio. So if you're hearing that, and I'm not up there, just come on in.
So just to end it real quick, just to say that when we take those things purposely out of our lives, we're reaching into the beyond, the spiritual, and asking for guidance and permission and connection. And when we do that, then it's harder to knock down a redwood tree and put a road down and all this stuff, pipelines, and it's harder, but we've lost that contact. Because of it, it's fear. And like Master Yoda says, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering.
Yes.
And when we fear nature, we fear ourselves. So in that vision quest, the more you sit there, nude, no water, no food, no sleep, you look out there, you're looking in here. That's what the old people say. And we're connected.
Yeah. And I think that's what I think Rainey and I need to get away from the kids and go do something like that. Just go out to the woods and sit and be quiet and talk and walk, take a little hike. It gets so busy. Life gets so busy and constantly inundated with kids, with bills, with
school
stuff that has to be done, school. She's got scouts that she does, and all of that just saps our time. And she was saying in that whole thing, she said, by the way, I'm going on a vacation with my sister. We're going to go somewhere. And I said, okay, cool. And she said, you're going to Scotland with your daughters in November. And I said, well, maybe it might be moved to the spring. We don't know yet for sure. And she said, well, she was kind of like, if you can take a vacation, I can take a vacation too without you. And I said, I'm okay with that. I said, whenever she's gone up to Alaska to visit her sister, I'm like, you never hear me complain. I'm like, go have fun. I got the kids. And I said, let's just you and I start planning something. And we got to get away. She and I have not been away on a Scotty and Raini vacation forever and ever. I think the last real trip we took was we went to Washington, D.C. in 2007.
Wow.
And she said, and that was business. Well, I had to meet with my publisher, but we stayed with friends and saw a lot of sites, went to Lynchburg, all of that stuff. We went to the Hamptons in New York to see a little music venue that was a bar, basically, and saw and Sons, Mumford and Sons. She won some tickets. So we got a free flight out there and a hotel and saw Mumford and Sons. And she said, well, that wasn't really a vacation for the two of us because we won those tickets. I said, do we have to pay for it, dig deep out of our pockets for it to be a good vacation? I said, we've had chances to get away. We've gone to ghost hunting events where we went to the Stanley Hotel together. We went and did that because I was paid to come and do my shtick out there. And she came and gave chair massages out there. So, we've been on trips together. We've never taken a Rainy Scotty vacation or as my kids would look at it, a mom and dad vacation away from the kids for a week, which would be nice. Going away for 2 weeks. I did that one time when I was a single dad of 3 kids. You know what I did? I called Uncle Dave this was in 2005. So 2 years before Rainy and I got together that same year, that same summer. But a few months before we got together, Uncle Dave came. I had it on a calendar, all made up. Uncle Dave comes, and I asked my ex-wife, do you want to take the kids during this period? No, I'm not going to help you go have a good time. I'm like, whatever. So I made up a calendar, and Uncle Dave would come and spend the nights with them and make them breakfast. He'd be there about the time they got home from school and spend the whole evening and the nights with my kids and make them breakfast and go do his own thing. And then I had 2 other friends who would come and take care of the kids in the off hours when Dave couldn't be there. And I had a whole schedule made up for them. And so I went on vacation for about 10 days when I went with my buddies to England and we pub hopped and castle hopped. I've talked about that glorious trip a few times. And so we always made provision. I think that's all Rainy and I would have to do is make provision for the kids to be watched. Have somebody, adults in here, and we could go. It could be grandma, it could be anybody else that wants to come. I didn't have any relatives that could do it when I was a single dad. My mom couldn't take on my kids for me. She had a life of her own and work and stuff. So I had friends that came in that could do it. So Rainy and I need to do that. We need to find a way to break away and go do our own thing. If it's for a long weekend, if it's for a week, we got to do that. And I know Rainy, she's a mom. As soon as we get away from the kids, she needs a vacation. I need a break from these kids. As soon as we get away, she's going to be missing the kids. So, I mean, that's the way it is with people you love. Even the kids that wear on you, they're an albatross about your neck sometimes. But they're your kids and you love them. So, we got to find a way to do that and get away. She wants to go Nova Scotia, something like that. So we need to take our own trip And because I've got my daughters taking me on a trip to Scotland. She wants to do a trip with her sister. And we got to do our own trip and get away.
Well, if you go to Nova Scotia, be sure to take your Carly Simon with you.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, she wants to see Nova Scotia. So we haven't been anywhere since these kids were born together. Hardly even, not even camping weekends. We plan them. Something comes up, it always dashes those plans. And but that was even with the family trying to do camping weekends, and we didn't get those done. And now we got a 14, 11, and 8-year-old, soon to be 9 and 12 and 14.
Mhm.
And we got to start getting some of those memories in for our kids and doing stuff together. So Jeremy Hansen says, Nova Scotia, the homeland. There you go. I think Rudy might be here. Is that what I'm hearing upstairs? Come on down, Rudy. So Rudy will come. I got a stool here he can sit on. And make your way back here. Follow the sound of my voice. How you doing, brother? Come on in. Have a seat and say hi to everybody. I haven't signed off yet.
Oh, good. I was listening until I got in the driveway.
So we got Rudy Dog here. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you.
Right there.
Doing well.
It's been years since we've actually seen each other face to face.
Big time.
So he used to work out at Festival at one of the gates.
Horse Gate
Horse Gate.
with Joel.
That's right. That's right. And you were part of the regiment.
Yep.
With me. So
Ensign.
Yep. And so he'd carry our flag. So Rudy and I are going to hang out a little bit. And so anybody got any questions of Rudy now that we got him here? Where are you living now in Minnesota?
Bruno, Minnesota, about
Bruno.
45 miles south of Duluth.
Okay. All right.
Right off of 23.
So you're a couple hours from here, hour and a half to 2 hours from here.
I just came from Inman Grove Heights that went to a wedding last night.
All
My
right.
niece's wedding.
So he's got a little drive ahead of him. Ruben used to live up near
I remember him
Duluth.
saying that earlier on the radio.
So
Yeah, first Cloquet, and then
okay,
over in Evelyn, the
Yep.
Hockey Hall of Fame. Yeah.
yeah.
Moving.
Yeah, I've been up to both Cloquet and Evelyn. So all up near the North Shore. Now, my friend Andy Dabbs, who we wrote the book for him, he hasn't come on the show yet. We tried to get him a couple of times. He called in once. They just relocated to Duluth. They live in Duluth now, too.
Duluth. Yeah, Steven's
Duluth.
up there, too.
Oh, Steven's up there, yeah.
The Twin Harbors, I think.
He's up in near Twin Harbors. He is the lighthouse keeper for the Split Rock Lighthouse.
Wow.
Very picturesque place up on the North Shore of Lake Superior. And so he was part of the Royal Guard with me out at the festival. So, yeah, there you go. All right.
Those magic years unfortunately disappeared.
Yeah, they have. They have. The magic has fled, and it's too bad. And there's reasons for it. So could that be reignited? Maybe.
We can always hope so.
The whole place would need new ownership, new management, and a whole new philosophy brought in again to recreate what once was, and maybe regain some of that old magic, or something brand new. I know they have Ren in the Glen out here. Have you been to that one?
No, I haven't been to either one.
Glenwood
Larf was
City. I don't know of that one.
I don't remember exactly where that was, but I've heard of something about
Glenwood City is about a half an hour east of here.
Yep.
And it's a one weekend festival, which is really a sweet little festival.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see a lot of people from our Minnesota Renaissance Festival will come out in costume and hang out there. So
I'm just sorry to interrupt, Scott, but good to see you, Rudy. I go to the Tuxedo Renaissance Fair. It's just like over the hill, 10 minutes away, and it's as big as Shakopee.
Really?
It's 10 acres. It's huge.
Wow.
And that's where
Minnesota's bigger than that. But you're probably talking proportionately the crowds. Like Minnesota is 23 acres, and all built out as it looks like a movie set in some strips of that. It's been there for 50 years. The old oak groves and the stone quarry beneath, and they get roughly on the average about 20,000 people a day come through that festival. So
pretty amazing.
Yeah,
I remember the time. You guys remember the time when puke and snot were kind of the thing.
Yep.
Wow.
And Joe Kudla passed away about 10 years ago or more now.
More than that, yeah.
10, 12 years ago.
I was thinking of the guy in the corner, not near the puke and snot stage, but further on, where the Tortuga Twins would do their act.
Crown stage is where they were.
Okay, and then but off in the corner, just
Queen's
a little,
Gate. Okay.
there was a guy that did spoonerisms.
I don't remember who that is, unless you're thinking of why is his name slipping my mind? The Tory Stellar.
Yeah, that's him. He was a professor at St. Cloud, I think, or something. But he did that in the summer. I always remember.
He's married to Lolly, who was queen for a while.
Okay, I don't remember much about that. Yeah.
Why is his name slipping my mind? Terry, I think. His last, because that's how many years it's been since I've talked to him.
Yeah,
I think
he was the Tory Seller.
The Tory Stellar. Yeah.
Reminds me of Norm Crosby. If you remember who Norm Crosby is.
Yep.
Comedian. He would do I watch a lot of old comedy because they don't curse. There's no section. They would bring you to the point, but then you've got to cross over sexually or whatever in your mind. And I'd watch the Dean Martin roasts.
Yeah.
The great acts. And Norm Crosby was one of those guys who reminded me of that. The Tory Seller, and he would say things out of context.
Yeah. Yeah, he was funny. He was very good. What he did.
Yeah, it was good.
Lolly, why can't I think of her last name? She played the queen, and then when she was no longer the queen, she played a peasant. And she just dressed differently and a different makeup and stuff, and she played a peasant. And it was kind of good. Good stuff. They were both very good entertainers. And I don't know if they still do it. There's a lot of the old-time entertainers that are just done out there. And it's changed the whole spirit of the place. Sad to say.
Wow.
Well, they've lost like 50% of the entertainment people.
Right.
Wow.
Just because Peterson didn't want to pay them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he never did.
No.
He never did pay them well. You got, for the 7 weekends of show, it was 7 Saturdays and Sundays plus Labor Day Monday.
And Friday.
4-Finger Friday. Yeah. And he would pay the street entertainers $50 and 6 food books for 7 weekends. And many of these people, we used to laugh about it. They're people that their boots were more expensive than their car.
Oh, yeah.
Because they invested money in their costumes and this was their life. And they do it for free. But 6 food books? 6 food books you could use up 6 food books in a day to have a couple of meals.
Back then, you could get some good meals out of the 6 food books.
Yeah,
nowadays, you're lucky to get a meal out of 1 food book.
Yeah, 1 food book. That wasn't even 1 food book a weekend.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there are acts out there that got thousands of dollars, and then there were street entertainers that got $50 for the whole run of show.
And hope for tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they did a bit that had tips. Some of them were just to add color to the street. And now you've got patrons, people who pay to come to the show that dress in costume and do their own bits on the street, entertaining themselves, that are sometimes you can't tell who's a hired entertainer versus, and they're sometimes better than
we
some
get
of
that
the
the Texas shows that 2 Texas shows that me and my wife do. There were people come in, they dress
You
accordingly.
do Scarborough?
No.
Okay.
Sherwood Forest is a small one. It started in 2010, and then we do the TRF.
Okay, TRF
Texas
is the big
Renaissance.
one.
That's just coming up here 2 weekends.
That was the that's George, what's his name, isn't there? Was that the guy who started the Minnesota Renaissance Festival with Jim Peterson, and then he split off. started
In
TRF.
the Paramount, I can't remember his last name or first name.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Years ago. And I never knew those guys. So I know Jim Peterson, but he's the owner. He's got to be pushing 80. He's up there. But our Renaissance Festival started in like 1970, 72.
Something like that.
As a little tiny arts hippie fair, you know? And
all tents.
Yep, all tents. And now, you know, you're talking 1972. You're talking 52, 53, 1 years later. That fair it's all built up. Like I said, it looks like a movie set on 23 acres. But the spirit has left the place. It's just not what it used to be, which is sad. So, and who knows how long that's going to be there before the quarry it sits on says, okay, we're done leasing this land. They've never owned the land. They've always leased it from the quarry. And it sits on top of a quarry. And and that's where all the parking has disappeared. The quarry has quarried up all the fields that were around the festival. Wow. It's almost like the festival is in this quarry now that sits on a plateau of oak grove.
And like a moat going around it.
Yeah, like a big moat going around it now. It's all been mined out. And it's still, you don't notice it when you're on site until you try to park. So that's soon going to be gone. That'll be sad. All those old buildings, can't really move that stuff. It's pretty much be dead.
5 years ago, they were going to try, I think. But
I know.
Heartbreaking to hear that, you know.
It is.
It's with me, because I tried to help out as I could, did my fair share there, and also the Old World Renaissance Fair up by Evel, if you've been there. Small one, but a lot of energy. I miss Shakopee because you turn around, you're going to see something amazing, a street performer or jugglers or jousting or people walking away with a turkey leg.
Yeah. I will say juggling has never really wowed me, but that's my thing.
Fire shows, the fire spinning.
Fire shows, that's cool. I liked Puke and Snot. They were one of the original big acts out there. They did sword fighting, and I use the quotations because it wasn't really sword fighting. It was playing with swords, and they'd do their little their little thing, and they'd throw insults at each other and tell jokes and all of that. And they became very well known and very famous. So, and now they've got, because Joe Kudla passed away 12 years ago, one of the two. And I think, I can't remember the other one's name because I don't say it as often. He's Terry? Not, I do believe.
Terry something? I don't know.
Don't remember. I never knew him. And so...
Well, I accidentally backed into his trailer awning once, about 7 years ago.
Nice. You ran him over?
I hit this. He was inside the building, inside his camper.
Oh!
I hit the awning that he was. I had to replace it, but it was kind of funny.
Oh boy! So he might be out there doing it with. There was
John,
somebody that replaced.
I got to run now. So. Bye, Ruben. Bye.
So,
all right.
See you later.
Bye now.
Thanks. Okay.
See you, Matthew. Captain Barbados. So anyway. I think it's about time we get out of here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We're usually done at 11. It's now 11:30. So I think we should get out of here. So, Uncle John, thanks for being here. Good to see you, brother. Talk to you later. Live long and prosper. Ruben, Misu, good to see you, brother. And we'll talk soon. Live long. There's sign language for you. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
That's Lakota and Vulcan.
May the force be with you.
That's right. Nanu, Nanu. All right. Pardon me, folks. Let's get out of here. Remember, every night every Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this week, Intrepid Radio. And that starts at 9 p.m. Central. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. left coast time. And if you live in Australia, it's like 2 p.m. tomorrow. Live. So everybody, thanks for being here. We'll talk to you soon. And you have a great rest of your Sunday. And that's all we got. So live long and prosper.